Oh my God, it's the 17th. Welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc Show. It is May 17th at 8 o'clock. Actually, it's 8:01, but you know that sometimes I got to wait for Joe to get here, and he lives far away. So
That I do.
But he's been here already. And in the green room, we have the famous, the undeniable, most beautiful, sexiest man on the planet, ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy fucking Riffle. Buddy, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today?
You know what? I'm doing good. We're just chilling here. Brittany said she had some fun shit to talk about. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going on. Let's see if we've got comments going on here. What we got? What's up, Kayla? They're epic?
Thank you.
Well, thanks. That's nice. Gosh, well, Jimmy's is pretty epic, though.
No.
He looks like old man fucking.
A little gray.
He looks like old man Earth in here. Look at him. Yeah, I know, but we all got to get that way. It just, gray is a sign of wisdom. That's what they tell me. Joe has some right there.
I agree.
It's true.
Joe, you have no gray. Do you dye your beard, bro?
No, I've got gray in there, man.
Yeah, he's got a spot about the size of a dime. That's gray.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it ain't big at all, bro. Mine, there's no denying it. No denying it.
Yeah, and I remember meeting you when you had a nice little brown beard.
That's right. That's my pirate name.
The pirate. Yeah. So, anyways, Brittany said she was going to come on in a little bit and talk about the what's going on, Dan. Good to see you, buddy.
Man.
Let's put Dan up on the screen there. That is Dan Schartz for Schwagelblurt. I don't know how to say that, but it looks cool. Poor kid had to write that in kindergarten, man. That's fucked up. But you know what I like about Dan?
Oh, fuck.
He gives zero fucks, and he's not part of the 4'11" gang.
No, pretty sure he made it past. Jim, how tall are you?
How tall am I?
Yeah.
I'm 4'11".
No, you're not. No, you're not. So Dan said he just ate about 3 pounds. He's 5'10". I just ate 3 pounds of barbecue pork and a pizza. That's you're gonna have the shit later.
Die.
What's up, Corey? Good to see you. He's the 5'8" gang. Man, you're shorter than my mother, Dan. Oh man, I gotta take that down. Come on now.
Oh man.
What's up, Michael Forster? How you doing, buddy? We're kind of just bullshitting, waiting for people to come in. Brittany went and saw a whole bunch of stuff today, and she was talking about something about UFOs and spacecrafts and aliens. Right? Is that what she said? Something along those lines. So I kind of want to touch on that too. And wow, Kayla said she's 5'7". Well, Dan, better get yourself some slides, baby. Dude, I haven't eaten a single damn thing all day until 30 minutes ago. I was so hungry. Yeah, you look pretty famished. I saw you at work today. I saw you pretty famished. Anyways, she said there's something going on with UFOs and shit like that. So, I mean, yeah. We were out the other day. Well, Joe and I went to some cool cemeteries, and then we were riding a motorcycle or a scooter around the other day, and Katie and I accidentally found a cemetery.
Yeah.
An old one, dude. From like this dude was born in 1707. I was like, whoa. So
was this a different than the one that you talked about last weekend?
Yep.
Wow.
Dan said, Michelle said, I'm 5'9". This dude said, so about this 5'7" chip.
Go for it, Dan.
Go for it, Dan. You heard that? I'll put her name up here
lady
for you right now. She's 5'7". See that? All right, just so you have that. Save that, Dan. Dan's a good guy. Dan doesn't work with snakes, though. He does, but he doesn't. He's more of a crocodilian guy. Like, he likes Burmese pythons and stuff. He gets naked with them and things like that, but he really, 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 really likes crocodilians. And tell me if I'm lying, Dan. Have you guys ever visited the monkey asylum before it was tore down? The monkey asylum. Where was that at?
It's in Brooksville.
No, I never did.
Nope.
What's going on, Judy? Oh my God! Let me see who this is in the green room here. Looks like it says a heart attack, a rat attack.
Be rat
attack. Oh, and doesn't that mean if you're in New York, that means to fuck you? What she was just doing?
So.
Yes.
You're welcome,
Brittany,
Joe.
Were you scratching?
I was scratching. My hair is tickling underneath my
I am the
nail.
amateur gator boy.
Oh,
he's the amateur gator boy.
Gotcha. It's all the gray hair. You see it coming in? Here. I bleach it.
At least the ones with reptiles of some sort. Okay.
Go away.
That's hilarious, Greg. That's so
Oh.
true. Oh, look at the ones at Wawa. They're like way off. I'm 7'3" at Wawa. Just depends on what you're looking at.
Oh God.
Oh my man, you don't even know, bro. You don't even know why I'm even saying that. I'll get into it later. Anyways, so what's up, Bumblebee Tuna? What'd you see today? You said
Well,
something about aliens or something, right? What the heck?
yeah, hold on one second. My it's being weird.
So Dan, you delivered the package yesterday. Would that have been the square groupers, or would that have been in your whatever the other thing is that you're dealing these days? Oh, I want to show you something, Joe. This shit came in the mail today. Why Brittany's adjusting her mic? Look, Fulton and Rourke, bro.
Oh, the one you told me.
Fuck yeah, smell that right there. Be careful, you want to fuck me. Oh, I know. This one's called the Devil's Harvest. Fulton and Rourke. I mean, it's this new wax cologne stuff. They had one called the Kraken in the Sea. I was going to get that for Brittany Sasquatch. Just put a little like this. A little bit like that, and you're good to go. I don't want to get too close to Joe, though. It might not benefit me.
That's right.
Whoa, that smells nice, doesn't it?
It does.
Oh,
Smells
my
really good.
God. Yeah, they have a bunch. So, anyways, what's up, Brittany? What happened? I don't hear you at all. Hold on, you muted yourself. Give me a minute. You're muted. You did it. Oh, she's gone.
Okay, bye.
We lost B-Rat. She was supposed to tell us all the good stuff.
B-Rat. What was the name on the 8 Mile? B-Rat? No.
That was B Rabbit.
B-Rabbit. That's what it was. B-Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
B-Rabbit. What's up, Jeff?
What's up, Jeff?
Fucking Jeff Goldblatt. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Brittany, you're back. What happened there?
I don't know. I honestly think after today, I'm just being tapped.
Shut up. No one gives a fuck about no aliens and shit.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
There must be something big going on because every time something big happens, there's a mass shooting. You ever know that? I know y'all are going to say, well, that's
Jeez.
fucked up, Troy. No. Every time something goes on in the government, I don't care what it is, there's a mass shooting. We're going to have abortion arguments, mass shooting. Aliens are going to attack, mass shooting. Every single time. Say something there, Taps.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, today's thing was big for the community of people that investigate UFOs or for ufology like me, because it was the first in over 50 years that the Capitol actually went on a live briefing and hearing in regards to UFOs and UAP.
What's up, Paul Wellman? Good to see you, buddy. I love Paul. He better come out, fucking riff-raff motherfucker. He's just as nasty as the rest of us. I love Paul.
So where were you? Where did you go today? Was it live? Did you watch it?
Yeah, because if you don't
Were
tell
you on
me,
a
we're going to
conference?
start losing viewers. It's going down. They're like, fuck, this bitch ain't talking. Click off. Get out of
No, it was live this morning from it was live from Capitol Hill. You could watch it. They live streamed it. And so I watched it because it was 9 a.m. Our time here when it went live. And basically I watched, it was an hour and 38 minutes long. And we've been waiting for this and had been leading up. And from my mentor in ufology, Don, who works with a lot of people in the Pentagon, and we already knew a lot of the insight and who was chosen for today's briefing.
Okay.
They
Who was
came
chosen for the briefing?
the two that were chosen, one in which Mr. Bray, he is actually in charge of the new investigation research team within the government, which is called ASAP or OSAP, excuse me. The names that they've come up with for the new, it's like an alphabet. It's a bit ridiculous.
Dumb as fuck.
But sadly, they didn't come fully prepared. And the ones that they chose, and I know why they chose who they chose. They chose these two individuals because they don't have a lot of knowledge and they can't slip up. So when you have these type of individuals talking, and when they're questioned, if they just don't know the answer, they truly just don't know the answer. Today, one of our representatives, Mike Gallagher, who I absolutely adore, totally went in and tackled with two of the major questions needing to be said, and one in which that everybody knows of this particular case that happened in 1967 on one of our Air Force bases regarding a protection of our missiles. There was a UFO that was sighted over top. Calls were called in. Many military men, a lot were on base. There's 2 bases there, and they were guarding a lot of our missiles. When the UFO was seen overhead, over 8 of the missiles gave the no-go signal, meaning they now are completely disarmed and locked up. You can't use them. They're done. They're dead missiles. And so basically when that happened, they made the report. Well, today, Mike Gallagher said to the gentleman, Mr. Bray, who is leading our new investigation team, our task force for UAPs, which is unidentified aerial phenomenon, which they removed from UFOs.
It's a drone.
Because
Just so you know, it's a drone.
they removed from UFOs because of the stigma of being extraterrestrial, and they're trying to pull away from that. Obviously, they're trying to say that it could be terrestrial in origin. However, again, that was tackled again today in heavy questioning.
So like maybe like one of our enemies are sending over like a drone, right? That's what you're trying to say in
yeah, our adversaries, yeah. But however,
layman terms.
Here's the problem though with that is that our adversaries right now are leading to would be Russia and China, and both are investigating the same incidences and have openly discussed it with our United States to say we are also have started our own rank to investigate these further because we're having the same incidences, which was brought up today. And Mr. Bray then immediately said, yes, that is correct. And they know of this, about this rank that they are also now investigating. So it's not like, and Germany is now off the record of basically declassifying all of their investigation tactics, everything they've done, all of their records, all their footage, everything to the public. Mexico is another one, as well as, what was the other? It was Germany. Gosh. And I know China has made it public with their people as well. And several other countries are also on this kick. Oh, and Italy. And putting out the information for people to know. But the problem was the issue I had is if you are leading the new investigation team like Project Blue Book, you better know your freaking history. I was very enraged that when when Representative Mike Gallagher of the House basically comes at you with this question in regards to the Malmstrom Air Force Base and our missiles that were deactivated by a UFO, a UAP in our airspace, deactivates our missiles. You don't see that as a national threat, and they were not briefed on this. They had no idea what they were talking about.
So it wasn't a hippie in a Volkswagen that did that?
No. This really happened. And the thing is that we have all these military men on this base. To me, that is a national security issue that needed to be targeted and spoke about and needed to be looked into further if you are investigating this thoroughly. They had no idea a lot of the history because when asked, was there any investigation team prior to Project Blue Book, which was led by J. Allen Hynek and another military, I can't remember the other gentleman's name from Air Force that worked with him. But they both were like, nope, there was no investigation team prior to that. And unfortunately, they were both correct. There was Project Sign that was in 1948 and Project Grudge that was also in 1949 prior to Project Blue Book launching for several years, for almost a decade. So they didn't know their research. They didn't know their history. And for them to shoot out with this stuff off the side, it was just kind of alarming that, they just didn't have any information to back, which if you're going to be leading our leading investigation, basically into UAPs and UFOs, you better be able to back when you're questioned these type of like normal information that's put out there for everyone to hear. So it was a little agitating, but there were great takeaways because Mr. Carson, the head of the Capitol, was eager to make sure the public was aware that we are taking it serious. He had a lot of really good points. Like I said, Mike Gallagher had some really good ones. LaHood had a lot of good questions as well. In fact, there was a question that was stated today, which I don't think the Air Force has ever thought about. When we have, anybody in our airspace, and we're flying our jets, and we make contact with them, immediately our response is to communicate with the vessel. We put it out. We are the United States Air Force. You're in such and such section. Please identify yourself. They were questioned today if we have ever done this with any of the UFO or UAPs, and the answer was pause, no.
So they didn't stop them.
Well, it's not. They just wouldn't communicate with them, which makes no sense. Why wouldn't you? We do it with everybody else within our airspace. When these are documented, captured, and are on our radar, why wouldn't you try to communicate with them? So there's a
I find that crazy because why wouldn't they? they're just lying. I mean, right? I mean, they would definitely ask, who they are, I would imagine.
There's
But-
definite contact being made, but that they're not going to discuss it. It's either there is contact being made, or they're like, oh God, we never thought of that before. Maybe we should actually try and communicate with these things next time. I just don't think that our Air Force is that stupid. Exactly. Yeah. And then on top of that, in the same instance, which I think this is quite interesting, when asked if we have any incidences of collision where we've actually had our pilots colliding with these UAPs or UFOs, the answer was no, but we've had 11 documented near misses.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Near misses. Okay.
Yeah. 11 near misses. And to me, that's something that really should be discussed further. The 11 near misses since you guys started this investigation, which I believe launched in 2017. And now you're telling me that we've had 11 near misses in our airspace. And just up to last week, you had a United States Air Force pilot come to you and call you and tell you he just flew a jet, came down, landed, and wanted to tell you he just saw a UAP in the sky.
Yeah, but don't you mean, Jeff's right, don't you mean near hits, not near misses?
No.
Because if it was like a near miss, I mean.
No, it is stated in Capitol Hill. He stated today, Mr. Bray, it is 11 near misses, as they are very close, and misses of almost actually hitting each other. It was a near miss.
So when you're saying misses, is that because there was a female driving the UFO or the plane? I don't understand.
No.
Oh my God! So I was creeping around earlier, stay put. I was creeping around earlier, right? And we were digging around in the yard, Jimmy. You're gonna love this. Don't jump away from me, you little fucker. Don't do it. Don't do it. So we were digging around under some plants. Stop it! My God, he tried to bite me. And we found this guy hanging out.
What is it? A tree frog? Cuban tree frog? What is it?
It's a little albino bullfrog.
Albino bullfrog?
Yeah, look at him.
It's
Sunshine. Look how he just sits there, doesn't even blink. Isn't he cool? Look how he's hanging out. He looks pissed, right? Let's bring him in real close. Doesn't he look pissed?
And he's albino?
Fuck you up, either that or he's on weed. Yeah, look, I'll show you. Hold on. I know everybody likes to see this really weird shit, but yeah, look at him. You see his color?
Nah, it's hard to see the colors on him. Yeah, he's light as shit. Oh my God.
He's cute. Look at those beady eyes.
Wow.
There you go. Now they're in focus.
Yeah.
He looks like he's about to fuck somebody up and grab your neck with them big old hands, don't he? This guy's the size of a fingernail. Anyways, I was just kidding. We didn't find it. Can you get that down there underneath? We didn't find him. Joe actually picked him up for Brittany because she knows Brittany has this extremely disgusting affliction for frogs.
I love frogs.
Yep. So his name is Mr. Sunshine.
Mr.
And he is going to be living. I just wanted to show it off. Yeah, the albino. So let's see here. Great find. I was just kidding, Dave. It would be a good find. I was just joking around with my sister. Actually, Joe got it for her. No, I didn't, Joe or Dan. Anybody? Joe found it. The albino bullfrog and the chimp is next level shit. Dan Troy, damn it, slapped my neck. Anyways, yeah. So Joe actually got it for Brittany because she's a frog freak.
I do love my frogs.
That's awesome.
But we will not be using that frog and the chimp. That's not one we're going to use.
No.
We're going to use a Cuban tree frog for that. Because I think it would feel like a Trojan. Wouldn't it kind of look like a snail head if his legs were sticking out like the eyes and he was stuck on your dangling and you ran around with him?
You all
like
are messed up.
You're messed up, Brittany. That's what life's about. That's what we think about. Ask John.
I feel like every week the chimp and the frog get brought up just to torment me, just as like a friendly reminder that I have a flashback of it.
You know, we have some good friends watching tonight, which is really cool. Our friends Andrea and Jim are out there. I want to say hello to you guys. I know that you're here, so I'm glad you jumped in. Our friends from the Scottish friends. I mean, I know we're Irish and stuff, and you know how the Irish are looked at by the Scots. Just saying, Brittany. Just saying.
It's true. It's
so,
true.
but we have a good time. So, I took my crazy, because for those of you that know, I have the Croc mobile. Okay, and so it's like a trike / scooter with skulls on it and Croc Star logo all over it, but it kind of broke down. So it's over in Sarasota right now getting fixed. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's been pretty good. If it was a Ford, it wouldn't be over there. But, you know, let's just not go there. And yes, you're right, Dan. It would be hot Cuban action. For those of you that don't know or new coming in, Dan is obsessed where this animal, this monkey, rapes the mouth of a bullfrog. He loves it, and we just so you know what he's talking about. Anyways, Brittany, back to aliens turning off, or hippies and vans turning off, turning off the. No, it's not. It's a Mad Dog 2. It's made by a company called Ice Bear, David. Well, if you're Cuban, Kayla, then all you have to do is paint yourself green and get underneath Dan, and you'll be just fine. Gypsy love you.
Oh my
This is
god.
an adult show. For those of you that don't know, no, we take it a little bit further than PG rated. So I'll probably be kicked off Facebook, but oh well. I mean, we're broadcasting there as well, so they usually get mad. Yes, they are close. Yeah, pretty much a replicant. The Ice Bears, most of the stuff is manufactured Chinese, and then your Honda's a Japanese product. So, I'd say I feel bad for the frog. I do, but it's just funny as shit that happened. You don't feel bad for the frog. You love it. Look at that. There you go, Dan. She's laughing. That's never going to happen. David Zeke said he's got to dress up as the chimp, though. That's true. He does. And we have to film from the back. We need to get the ball cam. Yeah, nice wide angle, fisheye ball cam. Gobble. I know Andrea and Jim are sitting there. Andrew's like, oh, God, he's so gross. He's gross. But anyways, yeah, Brittany, that's kind of cool that they're talking about spacecrafts and stuff. I'm really not ready. I was kind of hoping that stuff would come out after I'm dead because I'd like to see that as a ghost.
Well, I mean, it was just nice to have an actual public hearing from the Capitol. I mean, again, we haven't had one in over 50 years. So to actually have this being openly discussed, on a live stream from the Capitol in regards to objects in our airspace that we cannot at this point say exactly what it is, but we know what it is. And it's been around for a long period of time. It's, this isn't something new. For me, this is my field work. This is what I do daily, in ufology and dealing with emails and calls and things like that, especially with my partner. And it's like that, I just ignore your comments.
Do they have plans to do another one soon with that?
Sometimes I have to joke around, Brittany. We got to keep it light and hearty in here. I want to get serious about aliens coming down and raping our children and stuff right now. Like
that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening.
We're the superior on the planet, people, right? And we fuck everything up. We even think some of us, even some races, think they're superior over other races. So don't tell me if something comes out of the sky in some hot rod fucking sky ship that they're going to come down here and trade for a bag of Doritos. I don't think it's going to happen. Everybody's getting nuked and fucked. I mean, that's it right there. Yes, it has. I'll stick to catching gators and pythons. Jeff says aliens want to mouth rape our frogs. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Well, why else would they come? Today's society can't handle the truth about aliens. That's true, Paul. And I am. Listen, I'm joking around just to fuck around on the show, but I do believe that there is other forms of life out there. They could even be humans in just a different dimension of space. If you read anything about like Einstein and closing time, space, continuum, all that stuff. So I think there's a lot more going on. So if we talk, I think today was a big deal. If they revealed too much, there'd be a mass shooting. So we have to take it easy, with a little bit let out at a time, or somebody will shoot somebody up again. It's
well, for anybody to think that. But for anyone to think that they aren't slowly leaking stuff and they haven't been slowly leaking stuff from their own intel is silly, because they obviously are. And the general public is a lot more prepared for this type of information versus where we were 40, 50 years ago. So
people pillow talk. I mean, that's how Marilyn Monroe got axed.
Oh,
that's what I mean. Like they're in a spot, like, Jimmy's home's like, Sarah, so promise me you won't say anything, baby. All right. This alien walked in the room tonight and said my beard looked good. You shut the fuck up. No, I'm serious. He was kind of transparent. And next thing you know, they're getting an interview and she's mad at Jimmy. She's on CNN. My husband used to work there, and he said that an alien approached him in the room. I mean, think about it.
That's the problem, though, is there's a lot of people that come forward and, what what's really sad is their lives are threatened, and their livelihood, their lives, their family, their threats made to these people that come forward to talk about what they know. And this isn't, I'm just not talking about today, I'm talking about over the years, from high ranked generals or, levels within different sectors of the government that have just come forward because they don't want to keep this information around any longer. And some of that has also been the fact that, there's all these alleged claims that the aliens are already here, have already been here, and are working with the government. And these kind of claims are a little bit crazy for me to grab a hold of. But we are talking about a high level of confessions that have come forward. Yeah.
Like you said, people though, people are open and ready for these answers. But, in reality, if it really came out and, the scientific proof is there and there's hardcore evidence, I don't know how people would really react to it. I know there's a lot of people that would really want to know, but there's people that say they really want to know, but do they?
You would never look at things the same again.
Freak the fuck out. People would not know what to do.
But listen, like you have a lot of these people that have a religion, okay? And what if they did come down and talk about it? Blows all that shit out of the water for them. Because now our religious agencies are going to have to protect their religions, like, Muslims, Christians, Catholics, Satanists. Like
I would say only the extreme religion, because in the field,
they won't want anything revealed because if they can come here, there's going to be secrets that nobody knows about. Let's just be real about that. So everybody's going to be scared, and it's not going to be,
Yes and no. I mean, we have those conversations in this community quite often. There are a lot of people that say, I wouldn't change my religion view at all because I believe that there's more to creation than just our planet. So in talking to those people, it becomes a very heavy debate when you start touching on those topics. But believe it or not, the percentage is quite high for people that say it wouldn't change my view on religion at all. And the problem is that nobody in the general public know about these polls.
Religion. We're not saying that.
You're not listening.
I'm talking about if something comes and says, I'm the reason you're here. We're coming back to check on you. 10 million years ago, we put some stuff down here and we want to see it. You're a science project. And here, and they go, and they throw all the books out that they gave everybody in the beginning. Think about it. That's what I'm referring to. Not that if something showed up, people would freak out. I'm talking about they don't want it in the general public because it's going to ruin everything.
Well, the thing was that was a problem and a theory that came out, we're talking several years ago, in the thought of if we talked about aliens, people are going to have mass chaos because then where's God? But you can actually mesh the two. A lot of those have been in polls. It didn't change anybody's religion, no matter what religion you were in. Didn't matter. They were like, no, because we believe that there's life on other planets.
There's religions out there don't believe in dinosaurs. I mean, that's just...
I know, but there are polls that have taken these with general public to say, would this affect your view? And I know that they're doing these polls on purpose because they're slowly trying to bring this to the public. And they want to see where we are versus 50 years ago, 40 years ago, even 30 years ago. We were not ready.
With Star Wars and Star Trek. That's when they started making it believable. I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
No, I know, but in truth, I mean, if you go back, science fiction and science fiction comic books are really what jump-started the idea of allowing this to slowly come into the general population. Because in those comic books, the day the earth stood still, all of these things for me, look, I'd rather be prepared. I don't want to be sitting in my yard one day and go, why didn't they warn me? Why didn't they tell me? Now we're being taken over. I would rather have preparation for myself, my mental health, my family, to know we aren't alone. There are things in our atmosphere from other planets visiting, and I want to be prepared. Yes, he's right. Yep. I love when Greg just jumps in with these little things. I love it. He's right.
Craig Warren, he's as sharp as a fucking tack. That motherfucker right
He is. I love it.
I'm serious, man. Craig's the shit. I like him. He'll sneak up on you tonight, too, and cut your neck. You can watch out. Don't fuck with Craig. I remember turning one time. I don't remember where we were, Craig. I think it was like I was after a Croc Fest or something, and everybody's kind of hungry. We stopped at some restaurant or something. I turned around, and Craig's right there. I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't even see you come in. It was pretty awesome. Awesome.
That was when a big group of us were there, right? It was a lot of people at that restaurant. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I turned around, and Craig Warren, he was already in there ordered and ready to leave. I'm like, damn. Snuck in on us, man.
Look, I appreciate people that know their stuff. So... that's awesome. Just want to point that out.
Did you see what I said? Jeff said, I met a girl that didn't believe in kangaroos.
Well,
Okay. Well, we all know that's not true.
yes, we do.
They are real.
You know, listen, I'm not shocked. There's so many people that come out of the woods saying what they don't believe in, and I'm
Well, Dan wants
baffled.
everyone to know he's excited about Jurassic World.
Me too, Dan.
I mean, I have a friend that basically he
You're
doesn't believe
welcome.
in space. You tell him about space, he will totally deny it, and space doesn't exist. You know, I mean, and he is hardcore. That's what he believes, and you know, so Chili's
Well, there are
in St.
people that living
Augustine-
today.
That's
There
where
are
it
people
was.
living
You're right,
today
Greg.
that still believe in the flat Earth theory. The flat
Well,
earthers. They
the
actually
what?
have conventions. The
Let's
flat
not
Earth theory.
insult them. They're allowed to believe what they
Yeah.
want. It's
No, what
America.
I'm saying is there are people that still believe in that. So I don't put down anybody who believe in whatever. I mean, look at me for God's sakes. I'm a cryptozoologist,
I believe
ufologist,
that the Earth is
parapsychologist.
square.
I've got everything in the weird. So I'm always open to everybody's theories and beliefs, and I don't, it doesn't bother me at all.
No, Jeff, he's not. Nope.
And I do want to point out that the Kepler that is from NASA, even though it no longer has fuel, but they're still retrieving the
Jeff, me
data,
too.
that it did actually find an Earth-like planet. So it's pretty similar to us that we could actually live on. It's like 3 light years away. So for me, when these types of things pop up from NASA, this is just for me another friendly reminder that there are other livable and habitable planets that, even based on our science, what we think we know to live and survive on a planet doesn't necessarily mean that other life needs the same. And things evolve to live and thrive on whatever they're created on. So to think that there wouldn't be life on the moon, I think you're a little
Personally,
wrong
I
on
think
that.
the closest depiction to aliens that we've ever dealt with is aliens. Like an exoskeleton creature that just runs rampant and manifests whatever it wants. I mean, think about how logical that could be. And I'll tell you why I have a theory on that. Because it said cockroaches can survive a nuclear fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Cockroaches. So if you go back to the original movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver and that series, they were nothing more than exoskeleton creatures that were semi-intelligent. They would adapt to their surroundings. They had acid like for blood. They had a hard exterior. The way they used capsules and other bodies for like a roach does. If you think of some super bug type thing, it may not always be intelligent. It could be something that someone, they might have a pest control company on their planet. And they loaded them up in a capsule and shot them out, like, get them out of here. And we're over here waving, come, we love you, like they do out there in Roswell.
But here's something to think about.
Roach and it kills everyone. I mean, I'm sorry.
But here's something to think about. This is something I have in a debate quite often, is that we put our own human emotions on everything. What we would do.
Right, we do.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you. What we do is we always put our own human emotions on everything, whether it's an animal, that's just what we do. That's our nature. So we assume if something on another planet is, advanced in technology, well, they're just going to be just as evil as we are. Well, if we're going to take over a planet, we're just going to take it over. But my debate heavily is we do not know, because all of this is still in the air being investigated. So let's just say hypothetically that there are a race of other beings on another planet. They could honestly have bred out emotion completely to where they are just matter of fact. We're intelligent beings. We know what to make. We don't look at you as like we don't look.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I want them here. It's like a bunch of crocodiles with legs.
What I'm saying is that we're putting our own human emotions on and saying, oh, it's going to be a tit for tat. They're going to come and take us over and they're going to kill us all off. If they wanted to do that, I believe they already would have done that, especially if they are coming to visit us. I don't believe that is the case. I truly don't. I do believe that they mine here for possible resources if that's the case, because certain planets need certain things to survive. So is it possible that we have certain things on our planet that they might need on theirs? So they come here and collect it and leave? Sure. I don't see why not. Just as much as if we needed resources for Mars, what do you think we would do? We would plan manned trips, get the resource we need, and come back. We don't need to colonize there if we can get what we need and come back, if our planet is okay. So in my head, it's always stop putting our man emotions onto something and allow us to...
your man and woman emotions. You have to remember, you have to say that now.
Everything's emotions.
Okay.
Basically,
I just don't want anybody to cry about it and be offended because you didn't say woman too. That's all. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
I'm just trying to be
any
real.
emotion by a human being,
Protecting everybody's emotions out
we
there.
immediately put that out there onto everything that we deal with. So we just can't think that extraterrestrial are going to think like us because we don't know. We just truly don't know. That's the biggest issue I have. And the thing is if you go back to the crash of 1947 that happened in Roswell, even the photographer that was asked to take pictures of the body, you know, his remarks, even in his confession, in his deathbed confession, and what he saw, and he said, you know, it was, for him, it was traumatizing because they were so small, they looked like children. So it was hard for him to do what he had to do, even though they said to him, no questions asked, take the pictures. And they basically kept him in secret for 6 months in Alaska to hide him there. And then they kept him there.
And that was Roswell?
That was during the Roswell. That was during the Roswell incident, which was one of the largest smoking guns as to why Project Blue Book launched. But what they don't tell you about is there were other incidences that took place the same year. So the government was heavily involved. They knew what was going on. It's just that we had bodies collected from this one. And up to date, we know that they had up to 6 bodies collected. 7, I think, at max. But 6
yeah, there's some weird shit going on out there.
And one of them survived. And the problem is when I've heard these testimonies, it's really, I feel everything, and it really bothers me because to hear what some of the witnesses saw them do to the one that was alive, it's not right. No matter what it is, no matter who it is, no matter what, to torture it while it's alive, to do all this random testing when it was alive, and it can't speak, doesn't understand, doesn't know where it is. It's people are dead. It's crashed on our planet. It was an accidental crash. It was hard to hear what they did to it. It was just hard. Yeah. And the sick part is, which is in, Don's book too. And of course, Don's my mentor. We talk about this all the time. Donald Schmidt, you can get all of his books all over, because he is Roswell. He worked with J. Allen Hynek. He's in on these things. But the one thing that always bothered him too was the actual gentleman who worked for the military that resuscitated the one that they tortured. So he was literally dying and almost dead. And they asked him to specifically give it mouth to mouth and bring it back to life because they needed it alive. And he did it, and he regretted it because of what they did to this thing. And it's things like that.
He supposedly brought it back to life?
He did bring it back to life. It was the only living survivor that they had. And he regretted it because of after what they did to it. I know it sounds really stupid, and I know that you guys don't believe me, but these are we have hundreds of deathbed confessions from men that died that were I'm at the point where I'm dying. I don't care what the government does to me. They can't hurt me anymore because these men were threatened. And I'm talking men. These were all men at the time that had their lives and their livelihood and their families threatened if they talked about it. And at the time that the crash happened in 47, one of the largest statements from the military was, if you mention that this ever happened, you're going against your country. And it's like, what? It doesn't even go hand in hand that I'm going against my country. But basically, they were threatened as such.
Well, they wouldn't care about that now. They'd tattle. So what? So what I saw was,
that's the problem. If the 1947 crash had happened today, could you imagine? We didn't have cell phones to live stream. How can the government quickly cover up? They can't cover up shit now if something like that happens. They cannot cover anything up now. There's too many phones and too many live streams. It's not even funny. Oh my God.
Serious. They'll deflect it.
Yeah. Oh, they'll certainly try. They'll certainly try. But the problem is that there's just too much noise now. There's too much noise in this community for that to be hidden.
I understand.
What's he doing? Joe, what's he doing?
Joe, he's, Joe, he's a pimp. He's working a deal right here. He's always working a deal. See? He won. Joe. He just won the deal. He's on a live auction all the time. He's like, all right,
done.
No, I'm not interested in the caravan.
I will spin it to another quick topic that is something that I think Troy would find interesting, and I think all of you would too, is the giants, right? The giants research, the giants and giant bones. I'm sorry?
Did you see that thing I sent you in your text message with the toes?
Yeah, but it was like rocks, wasn't it? Like
It was
rock
neat, wasn't it?
formation?
That looked like
Yeah, it looked like
Or a
giant toes
petrified
sitting in
foot.
the sand. Or a petrified
It was
foot.
supposed
Yeah.
to be a human giant foot.
That's what it said it was.
Oh my God. Let me show you this, Joe. When you seal the deal, I'll show you.
You know,
Go ahead,
that's
Brittany.
another you know, that's another research of mine that I do. And one thing that I found really interesting in the research of giants, well, multiple things, but the Mutter Museum actually studied gigantism, you know, which is basically these small tumors that end up forming on your pituitary gland, and it shoots out the growth hormone, and it doesn't stop until you die. Well, throughout their research investigating these
That's in the middle of nowhere.
issues that happened, actually, Jeff is correct on this. You can pop that up if you want, and I can actually touch on that. Jeff, I actually investigated this very, very in depth.
On what?
Jeff's comment on this one, the giants in Afghanistan. I investigated this. This was recent. This was in art. It was in 2014. I want to say
Giants in Afghanistan. That's awesome.
a giant. One giant that they took down. He was a cave dwelling giant. It was actually through our military that took him down. They were sent on
Why?
a
What
mission
did he
because
do?
one of the convoys went missing, and the team were basically completely gone. And so they sent out another team to go and investigate what had happened to the convoy. They thought it was just attacked because they're in Afghanistan. And so they thought it was just another adversary attack.
Okay.
When they got there, there was a like 9-foot giant that had basically come out from the cave, who basically was
So it
slaughtering.
was Justin's height. Okay.
Yeah, Justin's height.
I think it says, Brittany, I think it says 2002, maybe.
Right, but the first report that came out to the public was in 2014, right? Does it say 2014?
Yeah,
The
I'm
mission
looking.
that the actually took place did happen in 2002. The first statement that came to the public was like in 2014, I want to say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was just looking to see if I could find it real quick. They said a YouTuber talked about it in 2016. So yeah, you're probably right. It's probably in that time frame.
Yeah, because Coast to Coast also had someone on. They've had several people come on and talk about this incident because several military men came forward and said that they were there that day, and that there was also talks of a giant that was taken down on base, even though they weren't supposed to be talking about it. But the guys were like, "Hey, did you hear about what happened earlier today?" And one of the gentlemen actually died because allegedly, let me state, because this is military. They basically stated that this giant had created its own spears and speared one of the lieutenants basically in the chest and had him upright. And when they were trying to shoot and take this thing down, they finally took it down and killed it, hogtied it. And then the pilot was called in to bring in an air carrier from the military. And basically they hogtied this thing, put it in a cargo net, put it inside the air carrier. And I don't remember the name of the actual plane that was flying to take this giant. It had to be one of the larger ones. And two of the pilots and this other gentleman. Yeah, that's an actual graphic depiction online. Yeah. From what happened. That should be telling the whole story too, intermixed with those pictures. And basically the pilot came forward and said that. Yep. In the cargo netting bag. Yeah, the team of the.
Is that a real picture? Yeah, we'll have to look that up.
And so it was very interesting because it was cave dwelling. And if you actually do the research and the history on cannibalistic giants in America and in other countries, they're all cave dwelling. They all live in the caves. So if you look into it, these giants are anywhere between 8 to 10 feet tall, but they're all
Bigfoots. In other words, they're just Bigfoots.
Yeah,
because that's what he's talking about. They're pretty detailed, size, looks, foul smell. That's a Bigfoot.
They said that
they look like people.
They said you'll first find the word giant in Greek mythology dating back to 1297.
That is correct. Yep.
Yes, that's correct, Jeff. That's very scientific.
Yep. Shaved Bigfoots. Yep. Jeff's on it tonight. Yep. Well, it is funny.
Well, Jeff,
I mean,
like us, he likes all that crazy shit. I think it's neat. I think giants and stuff like that's cool. What I like is like, we meet foreign people. Like, now when I get back over to see Andrea and Jim, I'm going to ask them if there's any type of, mythology on giants in Scotland or things like that.
There is.
Americans make up all kinds of wackadoodle stuff too, but
it's all over the country. All over the country. It's all over the world. Giants are all over the world without history, and it goes back to 800 and 900. It's not. It's intense. The research.
I mean, it's in the Bible, David and Goliath. They talked about that, but those were supposed to be Nephilims. So the angels came down, were porking some people. Babies were born. They were a little bigger than usual.
Well, there's the Anunnaki, and then there's the Nephilim, which are all kind of the same.
I thought a Nephilim was a hybrid human angel.
Yes.
Okay, so the Anunnaki isn't like an alien, though.
Yes. But they did the same. If you actually read the history, they did the same thing. They came down.
So the Anunnaki was down here raping girls. My God, what's?
If you just look into it, it's
You know, that'd be the same thing as a human having sex with a monkey.
Yeah, I have.
Just saying.
It's really fascinating because my biggest problem is that the giants. So in my research and the investigations I've done, dating back to like 1850s.
That's my favorite podcast ever. I try to live up to that, Jeff. He's showing you that, Brittany. It's called The Last Podcast on the Left. You need to look that up.
Oh, okay. I will, Jeff. Thank you for that.
They do. They're awesome. Those guys are awesome. If you're gonna, they're awesome. Go ahead.
That's the thing. Like all the research on the giants, they have these people that come onto the show, and then I'll talk to them, and then they're like, "I'm not going on another show." It's like, okay. So they won't go on another show after doing like Coast to Coast or whatever, because they feel like they've done their thing with George Norrie and they've put that out there. I know Guy has done several topics in regards to giants, but my biggest, which I think Jeff will, if he's been doing the research on giants, which it seems like he has.
I agree.
The biggest thing is from at least 1860s all the way through the 1930s up until now. When giant bones are collected, there's a trail. And you know where that trail leads? To the Smithsonian. And guess who funds the Smithsonian? The government. And every time the Smithsonian is put into question on where these bones have been transferred to and why they're now gone, they don't even know what we're talking about. But yet in reports from the Smithsonian dating back until probably, I want to say 2007, they actually did a report, a monthly briefing with their internal departments on giants. And a giant skull in which that they did have in possession and they believed to still have in possession within their vaults was a giant skull. So all of these skeletons that have been collected and found, they get poo-pooed as, no, it was just a taller discovery of Native Americans. Yet Native Americans talk about fighting off giants that were here before them. And if you follow that trail, they were all cave-dwelling cannibals. Even in Nevada, love. And Jeff, look up the Lovelock Cave.
Like a hot dog at a ball game, right? I mean, that's.
Said cave-dwelling animals.
I thought you said cave-dwelling cannibals, like they were eating Indians and stuff.
No, they are. They're cannibals.
Yeah, she did.
She did. Cannibals. They're legitimate.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're like,
yep.
Oh, that's a tasty kid. You want a bite, kind of thing.
Look up the history of the Lovelock Cave and the Native Americans in which fought off red-haired giants inside the caves of Nevada.
John's ancestors were there. What?
I knew John would get brought into this, but yeah.
What?
I told you I love my work so much. I literally married everything in one.
You did. A red-headed cannibalistic giant Bigfoot. Poor John. John's awesome too. Yes, you know what? Years of the Dead was a book, and then they came back out, Craig, which is really cool. Which was, I think, called The 13th Warrior. Was the movie with Antonio Banderas about him and the Vikings? Wasn't The Eaters of the Dead or The 13th Warrior based on The Eaters of the Dead? I think it was. Yeah, Brittany, you'll have to text us all that stuff too. I want to know about that. What is that?
This is Giants a book that's by Richard Dewhurst. He actually is like a producer and stuff, but took a lot of interest into the research and history of giants. So if anybody is really interested, I totally recommend this book because he does everything on the topic with actual, I mean, I've highlighted a lot of stuff, but actual pictures and photographs. And the Grand Canyon, the Egyptian Grand Canyon discovery is also in here by the archaeologists, which again, just so we're all clear on that topic, when it was discovered, the Smithsonian sent out an archaeologist to go and see for himself if the findings were accurate, which in the Grand Canyon, they found Egyptian burials, mummies, everything deep within there. Well, guess what? When he sent his 2 reports back, After the first one, the Smithsonian said, okay, get everything you possibly can and bring us back proof. He brings back proof, goes back to do more research. Guess what? The government buys up the Grand Canyon, and now you are no longer to fly in that area, no longer to climb in that area. And if so, you will be shot. Allegedly. They don't shoot,
big.
To kill, but you will be threatened to get off the property and told not to go down. So it's funny to me that it wasn't purchased by the government until this finding.
So when are we going?
Yeah, I know. I can't go. I can get taken down by the government. But yeah, so to me, it's very interesting because when these things happen, there's a trail. And the trail always seems to be another cover up, another takeover, another buyout. And now it's like that never happened. It didn't exist. And we own that land. So don't go there.
When you think about a giant at 9 feet, a full frame 9-foot giant, you're talking about a 12 to 1,400 pound thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I'm not talking about, because a guy that's just 6 foot and 250 pounds or whatever looks like a monster. So you can imagine what a 9-foot person, when they're going to be up over 1,000 pounds, 1,400 pounds.
And again, like I was saying, it was proven that by the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia that the gigantism isn't always the factor, that there is a genetic gene causing people to be giants. And they don't know where that gene comes from.
Years ago, Brittany dated a guy that was 6'10", and he was was gigantic when he walked in. I mean, Justin, he looked like a small Coke bottle next to a Ludu. I mean, Justin would look small next to this guy. So I imagine, and he was really big, dude, big. So I can imagine, 9 feet. I'm just thinking about that. That's just, I don't know how you'd fight off 5, 6 of those. I can't imagine the size of the hand, dude.
You really are. And that's the thing is you think our artillery, like all of our weapons and all of our
weapons would work. We have nuclear bombs the size of golf balls that would destroy them. But I mean, just hand-to-hand combat. Seriously, like
we wouldn't win if it was hand-to-hand combat. You wouldn't.
Well, that's the Indians did it. They were out there throwing rocks and shit.
It's true.
But in great numbers. But in great numbers, though, they were groups of them, though.
I mean, we're talking about even
imagine going up against 6 or 7 9-foot giants.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no.
What? Yeah. We'd have a hard time fighting 3 gorillas.
But it's fun to actually think about it because you're like, so if these are cave dwelling, and we know that our cave systems, even just in the United States, are so deep and they're considerably in some areas to be able to live in and thrive in, because there's a lot of areas it just breaks into large caverns and they go on and on and on and on. And we know off of the coast of California on Catalina Island that I did a lot of work there and investigations there, that some of the tunneling systems went 500 feet deep and 900 feet across. And we're talking an island. So when those tunnels were discovered, it was kind of like, whoa, hold on a second. So if you think about that, I can't sit here and say that giants wouldn't be hiding out, and I can't sit here and say they don't live in caves and know how to, if they've been here before us and are thriving and surviving, I'm not going to sit here and say that one isn't around still, or many are still around living in our caves. So is the claim and the alleged story from Afghanistan completely true? I'm not going to outrule it, because I think there's a lot on this earth we do not and fully understand. We just don't know. And I think a lot of stuff is kept secret from us on a lot of things. And I think this was another, this shouldn't have gotten out, but it did.
Craig, that guy is gigantic, bro. Here, this is that guy. He's standing there holding the top of a basketball hoop.
Yep.
Standing there.
I see it. That's a big boy.
7'6". Wow.
Good point.
That's true, Jeff. We really
do. I bet he can't dunk.
Exactly, Jeff.
Garden gnomes.
Garden gnomes wrestling lizards.
I mean, the thing is people always, they don't want to talk about Native American and what they dealt with. Native Americans talked about Sasquatch. Native Americans talked about giants and that they had to fight for their land against these two individuals and races of beings. And it's things that we need to consider. And I think it's really, and I'm going to say it, I think it's very silly of us and not fully, putting ourselves out there to accept the fact that we weren't there at this time and they were, and they've given us their history, on what they've had to fight for all this time. And I think that we need to take that into consideration moving forward. And even with mythology and Greek mythology and Celtic mythology, and I've looked into all of it in Norse and all of it, there is so much truth to their writing. There's so much truth. Yep, the sky people, that's another one. There's
love the Norse
sky
religions.
people, star people. I mean, there's all this history. I mean, if you look at the pyramids in Giza, they are aligned with the constellation. How in God's name did they do that? And guess what
Probably
else is
30
really
inches.
funny?
Probably 30 inches, Daniel.
If you go over into the Mayan culture, their temples are aligned to the exact same constellation as Egypt's. And what I also think is funny is that what was it? It's the actual the coordinates of the pyramids of Giza are the exact coordinates or the exact numbers of the speed of light.
That reminds me of I took a pill in Ibiza.
Huh.
From the song.
So these types of
Interesting.
things are heavy things to think about. And another thing that I always like to
Wonder
toss
how
out there.
they knew. You wonder how they knew about all that. No technology, no, nothing back then. How did they know any of that? That's what's crazy about it.
Exactly. These are the things that most people are like, I don't want to think about that stuff, but I do, and I stay up all night and I do the research on these things because it baffles me. Just like the people of Atlantis, if you read about these people, their intelligence was extraordinary, and I sometimes feel like they're
they
still
created
found.
religion.
They just left our Earth.
Yeah.
They did. I'm serious.
Just as much as the Egyptians.
And that's probably true, Jeff. That there's a lot of truth to that.
Marty McFly is definitely.
Marty McFly, my boy.
Technology back then was made more advanced than our modern junk made in China. I love the old mysterious ways. I agree, Paul. That's pretty awesome.
Well, and Egypt has already been proven that so some of the hieroglyphs, they had been in question for a long time, but now they've discovered that those hieroglyphs indicated that they actually made light bulbs. So when you sit back and you go, well, crap, I guess we misread that hieroglyph. And it's been indicated now that they found out that within the jars, those were their power. Like they had these giant bars and these huge not spherical, but oval shaped type of glass. And they would be powered in through light. And they figured out how to make human batteries out of these giant vases.
Human batteries.
Not human batteries, excuse me, but human size, like height size, vases
say,
and vases that were powering these lights.
I would imagine.
No, it's just, the thing is that we were so advanced, and then we hit the dark ages for a reason, and it's something to consider. It's something to think about.
They could have created a windmill type power generator. What happened?
Jeff.
They think people built the pyramids.
No, they
used the rocks. For those of you, before you get all fucking offended, look at Jeff's last name. He is allowed to say that. Because now someone's going to be like, I can't believe they're talking about Jews like that. Oh, here's another one. Jason Ryder just came in.
Jason.
So, Jason, if you Jeff's always got something hilarious to say. But he's allowed. He's allowed. He's allowed. Anyways. What's Jason? Have the lights on me.
Brittany, that's for you.
Jason, to answer your question, they have not found the actual, like what I would say the light bulbs, but they have found the batteries that would have powered those. And that's what's indicated in the hieroglyphs on the walls. They're actually standing directly behind the figures holding the light bulb to show the power to the light source, which for the longest time, they really weren't sure what they were looking at because it kind of looked like a snake in a jar. But it ended up through more investigation and more understanding of reading what they were looking at. It did actually come to terms that it's actually light bulbs. Like they discovered how to create light and light sources within their I guess homes or structures at that time. And it's all these things are very interesting to me, and there are some theories in regards to how the pyramids were built. In some cases, they believe it was built completely by sound because there are sound waves that are so strong that can actually lift things, and it was proven at NASA.
So there's some truth. There's some truth to what Jeff was saying.
With what?
What Jeff was saying.
Which one?
Here, I'll put it up again because
The
it's funny
Jews
to me.
didn't build the pyramids.
He said they think people built pyramids. Jews don't lift rocks.
Jeff. Well, they don't know for sure. I mean, we know through historical, and I've studied some of the Egyptian stuff through historical. That was what they did and claimed. But there are a lot of hieroglyphs, and there were alleged finds inside the pyramids and within the Great Sphinx in Giza that also indicated that there were extraterrestrial involvement, and those were quickly hidden and stored away, except they were leaked. And there are photographs, and I believe you can find them on the internet, of what looks like an alien face in almost like Egyptian garb, and a couple other weird artifacts that indicated that extraterrestrial involvement may have happened at. And that's all underneath the, ancient alien theory, which I also study. So there's you can go on and on and on with all these different areas of the paranormal, because it's not just
and that means we are now at 9:00 in the top of the hour. So we always carry the show for an hour. Sometimes it goes over a little bit, but I don't think tonight's a good night to do that. I think that we should pick up on that again. I'd like to see what because Jeff's leaving amazing comments tonight.
This is so messed up. Poor Jason.
These two guys are great. I love both of them.
Jason pops in and already he's in the jokes.
I know, the Jew at the zoo is. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that because I just think that
I did like Paul Wellman's though.
Yeah, and Jason's a super Jew. Once again, guys, I'm laughing at this because both of these wonderful gentlemen are Jewish. They can say whatever they want about themselves or whatever their shit is, but it does make me laugh. It makes my day, man. That shit was actually really hysterical, and I think that everybody's laughing. Nancy likes the spicy overtime. I do too. I carried a little bit, but that stuff is a super Jew. Oh, you got to get a shirt, Jason. You got to. But
I did. You should just put up Wellman's really quick, just so you can see.
I did. The rabbit hole thing. Yeah, I did put his up. So supposedly there are more stone etchings that show people may have had cell phones or computer type technology. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole yet, but yes, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yep.
I saw that. There's an interesting network, Gaia TV. If you look it up and find it, this is all they talk about. And I have that network, and I see a lot of different things on there. They get into really, really strange phenomena like that, things that have been found, or what Brittany had been talking about earlier. So there's some really good stuff.
Well, what's really fascinating, and I'll put this in really quick on regards to Wellman's comment there in that rabbit hole, which if he ever goes down it, he's going to be like, oh my God. But the Anunnaki are carved onto walls, right? Like on a hieroglyph, but it's carved into the side of a wall. And basically what they're holding almost looks like the same type of bags with the same chain that our NASA astronauts take with them when going onto the rockets or into the the shuttles to take off into space. It's almost like their little.
So I'm going to say this because I got a text from Andrea, and they're from Scotland. She said you need to research the Giants Causeway in Scotland. Giants Causeway. She said Giants are there for sure. Now there's 3 people from Scotland watching tonight, but they're here, but they're watching, and they were telling me that. So they're not just making it up because they read it on Google.
No, and I know exactly what they're talking about, and it is something that they really need to look into, because Ireland has one very similar. It's not as, I would say, as she'll probably agree with me, as nice as the one in Scotland. But yeah, the Giant Causeway, I was at the one in Ireland. I stood in the center of it, which is believed to have been built by giants. And I know that the one in Scotland was as well. And when you stand there and you're looking at what you're looking at, your mind is blown. And I stood right on top of them in the middle of a storm, and I just was fascinated at what I was looking at.
And I think that's really cool. And I was going to say something previous to Paul Wellman's comment. 1994, there was a Van Damme movie called Time Cop. And if you watch that movie, he pretty much had an iPhone or an iPad in that when he would hunt, and he would hold up the screen and he would tap it, the face would pop up, it would give their information. Now in 1994, we didn't have technology like that. We still had computers that were weird, and you were just now able to look up maybe some boobs and car dealership. There was nothing like that. So he would like shoot back in time. He would have his iPad or iPhone. He would search these people. So it's interesting that that type of technology was even talked about in a movie like that to later years come out. 2007, I believe, was the release of the iPhone, which was the very first smartphone ever released. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for an amazing product. I know a lot of people don't like it, but if you research Steve Jobs and a lot of his technology, everything else is just a cheap knockoff, no matter how well it works. So he was a pioneer in that. I think if he hadn't passed away from cancer or was killed, I think there'd be a lot more technology. Steve Jobs was a pretty interesting character.
Oh, there's something else.
And we are now 5 minutes in, Brittany. So, Brittany, have you met Tom DeLonge or DeLong?
I have not met Tom DeLong. That is a gentleman I have not met. Tom DeLong is actually one of the former band members of Blink 182. Mm-hmm.
My witchcraft shirt. So.
He got very into it. He started working with Luis Elizondo in regards to the UAP phenomenon and trying to get a lot of that information out. He's helped Luis Elizondo on a couple of instances, but I don't think Tom is actually in the game so much anymore, to be quite honest, from the information I've gathered. Yes, that is true. Time travelers, it's a whole nother guy. Yep.
Well, I can tell you a story. We were watching the reveal. I found this by accident. I wasn't even looking this up. This was an accident. I'm trying to touch on something real quick because it's in depth and I don't want to overrun too much. But we were watching videos of when they were revealing Mount Rushmore. And there was a person in that crowd. I was watching the video and I rewound it again. I watched it again. I watched it again. This guy had aviators on, sunglasses. They were not invented back then. Everybody else did in that fucking video. And it was an old, rough black and white, you can imagine top hat type video. They were holding their hats over their head like this, or they were trying to look, and this guy just standing there with sunglass aviators on, fucking right there. Like it was a whole special on Mount Rushmore. It had nothing to do with that. And I'm like, that fucker's wearing cop glasses, and they didn't even have. You were lucky to get eyeglasses that were circular and like they could get it right. This guy had aviators on and a weird. He didn't even look like he belonged there, but he was there looking at it. That's weird to me. That's true. I can find that picture and I'll show you, but that's true.
Here is something on the rabbit hole of time travel. There, and I have a photo of it so I can back it up just to show you guys. There is a statue from the Mayan culture that was excavated and found and put into a museum because it was dated at the time of the Mayans. This statue's face is a QR code that no longer works.
And I'm not kidding. I thought you were going to say he was wearing Air Jordans or something. I was going to be like, that's cool.
No, its whole face is an actual QR code. Now, would anyone like to explain to me how the Mayans knew about QR codes and why they would need them at the time they were around? There were no such thing as computers. And it is on display in the museum. I'm just saying.
So, Brittany, the other night, I know Paul said, "What WTF?" That's what we are. WTF Paranormal.
Paranormal. Yep. Brittany, but that is something you can look into. It's dated. People do not understand. It's been tested to see if the QR code still works. It does not work.
Well said.
It does. That is true. You never know those smarties.
So the other night, Brittany, I was using the spirit box.
Okay.
And we were having some stuff talk to us. And it gave us some really interesting things. Long story short, the next day, Joe and I went to the store. And the names that were given to us were on this rack in a complete row. Randomly. Right?
Yeah, it was freaky.
Yeah, like it was just like, basically like, I was like, whoa, dude. He was like, Troy, come on, man. That shouldn't be like that. And it was like that. So there's a lot more to that. I'll go into it next time.
Oh, my God. Poor Jimmy. Wow. Now, Joe, is that spirit box one of the new ones that you got?
No, it was whatever Troy.
One of mine. I have one. I have a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I know you've been waiting on your stuff too, Joe, to come in.
But I looked at a few of
Instantly.
them. I find them very interesting, but some of them are up for $600-700. But
Yes.
there's a lot. We had some interesting stuff. I mean, we had that one woman came through and said something.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
you want,
There's
you
quite a
guys
few
should
people.
look into
Yeah, it was quite a few,
portals.
and the names, the voices that were come through were they were very distinctual between
Yeah.
female and
You can
male.
tell male and female.
So when we were
You-
asking certain things, we would get like these really high peaks of energy and spikes of energy, and then a word would come through, and you're like, oh my god, dude! Like I remember I was like, look, now I got chills or whatever, and so it's pretty interesting because it was pretty dead nuts. It wasn't like made up. Like you're like, hey, who's here? And it goes popcorns and hot dogs or something. It wasn't like that. It was very
It was
to the
direct.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intelligent,
Thank
direct.
you, Corey. I'm gonna go ahead and patent that.
Jeez Louise.
And I think that's amazing. We need to put that on a shirt.
Oh.
I love these guys. They make the show. And so, with that being said, I we should probably end it tonight. We're 10 minutes in, but yeah, we should touch on that stuff next time. Joe's going to be out of town, so the next show he'll be broadcasting. We'll be broadcasting with him he'll probably be in New York. So
New York.
he'll be in New York. Most wonderful.
And
place
don't
on the
forget,
planet,
guys,
right,
this coming
New
weekend,
York
Friday,
City.
Saturday, Sunday, MegaCon in Orlando. Just so everybody knows.
Are you guys going? Are you going,
Heck
Brittany?
yeah, I'm going. Yes.
I would like to go.
A Trailer Park Boys are going to be there.
I'll be there then. I'll be there.
They're all going to be there. And they're filming live on Friday, their podcast live at MegaCon on Friday, which is pretty great. But they're going to be there the entire weekend. So that's one of their headliners.
Absolutely love it. MegaCon, is it like Comic-Con? Yeah, it's a lot bigger, Dan. It's got everything out there. It's not just, comic books and stuff. Everybody dresses up like Wonder Woman or whatever. I mean, they do that too. But they have everything there. Jurassic Park was there one year when I was there.
Yeah, so the Jurassic Park stuff will be back this year. I'm not sure if any of the actors are coming. The actor lineup is on megacon.com Orlando for May. You can see their entire talent list lineup. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Zachary, I can never remember his last name, but the guy who plays Shazam, I think, is going to be there this coming weekend as well. So there are a lot of really celebrity names that will be there, larger names. I know that the team is coming back from Lord of the Rings. They'll be there.
The one year we were there with the animals, Jason Momoa was there.
He was.
And it was like,
he was so nice.
Like when he came out, like I remember looking across the whole thing, and it's huge in there. It's like 5 acres under a building or bigger. 40 acres, I'm sorry, in one building. 40 acres.
It's huge. It's
stuffed.
Huge.
And the whole crowd was like, ah! It all moved. It was like the weirdest thing. It was like ants being hosed out of it was, and everybody wanted to get up there and see him. And I guess he was just really, really cool. And so, yeah. Yes, Aquaman was there. Yes, he was there.
Yep, he was there.
You should probably go, Dan. I think it's an experience for you. Grab Corey and Benny, and I'll see what days maybe we can get up there. Maybe we'll take a day and go up there.
I will be there on Saturday. That is the day that I am attending.
All right. Well, I won't be able to bring Joe, unfortunately, but
I know.
Yeah, for those of you that are still watching, want to check out some of the stuff, you can go to youtube.com, which we are on. It's called The Motley Croc Show, and it's on youtube.com. You can find that there. I upload all of them. So when we're done here, we upload everything to that page, as well as any of the videos on The Motley Croc Show or my personal page, which is Troy Lilly. It will also be uploaded in the videos, so you can click any one of them and watch them, zip through them, go to certain times, wherever you want to see. And I wanted to say that because people say they want to watch more often. We do broadcast live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Used to be Sundays. Now it's Tuesday. Makes it a little easier on people, especially adults who have the kids in bed.
No. Dan, no.
So, if Brittany's there, I'm going to dress up as a chimp. No. Okay, you should do that. I'll hold your hand, and we'll bring one of her frogs and stick it on your bing bang.
No.
But to let you guys know, if you want to check that stuff out, I upload it, like I said, to YouTube, and it's The Motley Croc Show on YouTube, and you can zip through and see that. If you want to go back to 2-year shows, like when we started this little thing, years and years ago, when it very first started, it's probably two and a half years ago now. And it started on Facebook, and you can go back, and then there's extra links to take you even further back when it started. So we've been doing this quite a long time. We appreciate all the support you guys give us and hanging out and chit-chatting. And, my co-host, Jimmy, Brittany comes on a lot. Joe's always around. So we have a fun doing this. It's a blast, and we appreciate you guys coming in. So until next Tuesday at 8 p.m., I will be doing whatever I'm doing. You'll be in New York. Jimmy will be opening a park hopefully soon, or trying to get it going. And Brittany will be investigating aliens.
That's true. I'll be busy deep in the wormholes of paranormal.
That sounds like a plan.